Good morning, everyone. Happy Change the Shed Day. It is December 7. It has been a month since Change the Shed. So I am happy you're here. I had a 3-week gap and then I wasn't feeling well last week. So thank you to all of you who have come today, a week later. And I will be back next week, 1 week from today, for our 100th episode of Change the Shed. It will be on December 14 at the same time, right here on YouTube. So I hope you all have time to come, or of course watch the recording. We'll do something special for the 100th episode. I can't believe we've made it to 100, honestly. I do feel like the pandemic's getting a little better though, so that is fun. I had my first return to teaching this fall, so I taught at SOAR and another retreat, and felt pretty good, and I did not get COVID. So I feel like so far so good. And welcome everybody from all over. Nan's here from Woodstock, and Harold from west coast of Canada, Jean from Texas, Cheryl from Rhode Island, Victoria from California, Julie from Kirkland, Susan from Oregon, Dave from the UK, Julia from Germany. Thanks for staying up in the evening to join Change the Shed, y'all. Spinning Saga's here from the UK, and Leslie from Vermont, and Betsy from, I think, Washington now. She used to be in Colorado. And she's knitting a chicken today. Betsy, I have a gnome for today. So Mochi Mochi Land, many of you know that I like to knit their chickens. So Leslie says Betsy says she's knitting a chicken today. All right, Susan, it's cloudy in Pittsburgh. Hopefully this will brighten your day. It is sunny in Colorado. The sky is blue. The sun is out. Jessica says, but today is the 99th, which is good too, right? The 99th episode. Jessica is here from Southern Illinois. I'm going to, hang on just a second. I failed to turn the heat off, so you're going to hear that in a second. My apologies. I'm in the basement right now, and the heater is right behind that wall, so you're going to hear that come on, hopefully not too loudly. Or maybe you will hear it. Carol's here from Maine. Anna, also from the UK. Welcome, everybody. Glad you're here. It's December and it's time to weave tapestry, right? I like spending a little time in December just chilling out a little bit and knitting chickens and weaving some tapestries. So, Johnette is here from just down the road in Wheat Ridge, Colorado, and Judy from Vancouver Island, which is a beautiful place. And I'm here from Fort Collins. If you didn't know, that's where I am. I'm in Fort Collins, Colorado. Northern Colorado is right south of the Wyoming line. We're actually right in the middle of the country, which always surprises me. Okay, today I am on a little holiday kick just for fun, and I've been wanting to weave a gnome for a long time. This is one of those holiday things you do, right? And maybe stick it on a greeting card or something. So today I'm weaving a gnome. I warped this loom for something else, actually, and realized I was thinking it was 10 EPI, and when I started weaving yesterday, realized it was 8. So this will be a little chunky gnome at 8 EPI, and it should be just a fun weave. I was thinking of doing a weave along this month, and you'll just have to use this Change the Shed as your weave along if you want to weave a gnome, which seem quite popular right now, at least in the knitting world. A lot of people knitting gnomes for Christmas. So if you want to weave one, just find, get out your pencil. All it takes is here's my gnome, circle for the nose, mustache or beard, triangle hat, and a little squatty body, and you have a gnome. So maybe some of you also want to join in my gnome weaving. Jody's here from Missouri and Robin from Ontario, and New Mexico is in the house. Great, Paige. I was just in New Mexico. It is my homeland, if I may say so. It was great to be there in November. Sharon is here. Robin loves gnomes. Suzanne from Wyoming, just up the road from here. And Southeast Wyoming is probably not that far from here, Suzanne. I think we're only 40 miles from Cheyenne. So, okay, Marlene is here from Central Texas. All right, so let's do some weaving for fun. And if you have questions, pipe up. And I'm going to see if I can show you the other camera. Here's my gnome. Oh, that's not what I want. Hold on, technological issues here. Oh, you know what? I clicked something the other day, and obviously I changed how I do my... So sorry, you guys. I'm not going to be able to remember how I did that. Crud. I remember clicking something last night, and now it's making it so that the screen is split and I can't remember where it was, and I really apologize, but I'm not going to be able to find it. So here's what I'm weaving, and I really apologize to those of you who maybe need to see my face to hear what I'm saying. There are ways to get closed caption, or if you're watching the replay, of course, you can get subtitles, and I will figure out what I did wrong. Oh, wait, maybe this is it. Oh, yes! Found it. Okay. So, sorry. It's Wednesday. Here's my little knitted gnome. This is from Mochi Mochi Land. If you are a knitter, she designs all the little chickens I do. So here's her gnome, and I'll probably be making some more of those for the holidays. Here is my gnome pattern. I just whipped this out with a pencil. By looking at various gnomes that people knit, triangle head, little body, round nose, whatever. And I'm going to use array yarn because that's what I have hanging out, and I love it. Yes, Jessica says, check out Imagined Landscapes on Ravelry. Those are the ones I've been looking at, Jessica. I just heard about Imagined Landscapes. So if you like to knit gnomes that are larger, she has some really fun things, and they're all gnomes. I think they're quite a bit larger, but they're super cute. Okay, so here's my little, let's see if you can see that. This is a fringeless warp that I put on for a different purpose, but I'm going to use it for this gnome, even though I thought it was 10 EPI, and it is not, it is 8. So I have 4 inches square to work with, and I actually decided to weave it this way. I debated whether I should weave it this way, which maybe I'll weave a second one that way, but I really wanted the little stripes in the hat and the body, and the edges of the hat don't have to be straight. So that means weaving it this way should work okay. I'm not sure how you'll be able to see that better, but let's try this. So I've been alternating the colors in the little body here. Let's see if I do that. Maybe you can see what I'm doing. Alternating the colors in the little body. And then this is a variegated yarn that I dyed. I painted this yarn, and I chose it because I wanted a background that was interesting, but I didn't want to go to all the work to change the colors in the background for this quick little weave. So I have this one. I actually have this one. I may use this up near the top. Another one that is variegated from being painted. This is actually Harrisville Shetland. So it's a little bit thin for what I'm doing here, but we're going with it because I don't have any Harrisville Highland, which is what I would use at 8 EPI. That's what I would use for this set. The Shetland is half the size. So really I should double this, but I don't want to double it because I want to keep the colors intact. So on a small piece, having the set, not match the weft size to some extent. You can get away with it. On a larger piece, I probably wouldn't do that. This is array. The gnome colors are array. And just doing some little stripes. And let's do that. And then here's an advantage of using a pipe loom. This is a copper pipe loom that I made myself. You can make them for, I don't know what, I haven't costed one out lately. It's probably 30 bucks, including the tool you need to cut the copper. You can turn it over and see the back. So I've been alternating the colors in the stripes, and I'm just going to bring that other color up and put this color down. Just to make the little stripes in his little shirt. This is the indigo color from Array, which is one of my favorites. It's a really pretty color. Okay, and there's a little tiny hand. Can you see that? Yeah. There's a little tiny hand right there, which at 8 EPI is going to be perhaps not the best in terms of form, but let's try it. I think I'm going to use this color, which is Cinnamon 4 for the hand. And we don't need very much. Let's see. So then the other thing, this is a fringeless warp. I could split the warps to do this little hand, which would make it a little more delicate, which means that would be 16, which means I probably only need one strand. Let's try it, and if it doesn't work, we'll take it out. So I'm going to split these two warps to start this little, can you see that? Yeah, sort of. Is it better without the, I'm not sure which is better, with or without the, darker or lighter? Here's the little guy. Okay, I'm actually going to pigtail this so it stays. And then these, I'm also trying not to let them untwist. And I'm going to go back and forth a couple times. Sorry, that's probably almost impossible to see. But I'm splitting the two warps that you use together in the fringeless system. I'm splitting them and weaving them as if they were two warps next to each other. And then I'm going to add one from here, so we're up to 3 warps. Actually, a little needle would help. Oh, I also have my llama here, if you want to see another. This is a Susan B. Anderson pattern. I knitted a bunch of those a couple of years ago, and actually it's probably many years ago now. I still have a couple around. Some have gone to see children, but that's my studio llama. Okay. So can you kind of see, yeah, how I've split those warps? Nancy asked what are the dimensions of the pipe loom? Let me just get a ruler to make sure. This pipe loom is actually narrower than I would like, because this is 4 inches, and you can see here that my shed stick is always hitting the pipe. I like a little more room on the edges. This pipe loom, I usually weave smaller things, but it is total the bottom pipe was probably 8 inches and the total width is 9.5. And it is, the sides are 7. So there's 4 7-inch sides, and then I have threaded rod in the middle. So the total height of this loom is about 20 inches. I like a long, long warp. It is easier to weave on. Okay. Pipe looms are easy to make. I have instructions in most of my online classes. If you're in one of my online classes and you want to know where those instructions are, just ask. I will be happy to point them. They're in the bonus sections of a lot of the classes. But if you can't find them, let me know. The addicting thing about pipe looms is that they're really fast to make and they're inexpensive. And I just keep the materials for it in my garage. So if I suddenly find that all my pipe looms are full of something in progress or I want a different size, I just go to the garage and make one. It takes about, if I use glue, it takes about 10 minutes. Of course, then the glue has to set, but 10 minutes plus 24 hours. If I solder, it takes a little bit longer to make it, but yeah, either way works. Okay, I have no idea if I'm gonna like that, but let's go with it. This is just a piece for fun. Hello from Paris. We've got a good international European component here today. It's good to see you all. I noticed we have someone from Serbia. I've forgotten your name. I probably won't say it right. Something like Liliana, but welcome from Serbia. And okay, so anyway, here's the little hand. So you get the idea that I can do that with, it's actually a little bit larger than I probably maybe wanted it to be from this picture, but am I going to hate that enough that I should take it out? Yeah, we'll leave it. I'm just going to make it smaller width-wise. I think it's a little too wide, but if I make it smaller from here, I think it'll be all right. You don't want to watch me unweave it, I'm guessing. When you split the fringeless warp, the weaving is very, it's a real pain. So I only do it for little bits where it will help the form, or something like this where I want just a little tiny thing. Okay, and then the vertical part here at the edge of the shirt, I think I'm going to try just leaving a slit. Oh, and if I make stripes in the sleeve and offset them, it'll look like there's a line there. Outlining something that's vertical like that is really hard, so you have to think of other little ways to make your brain think that that outline is there when it's not. Okay. Let's finish this stripe. This is 3 strands of array wool at 8 per inch. All right, that will finish that stripe. And I'm gonna fill in some more on the side here. This is just managing the selvage with a little tapestry fork. I'm actually using my hand to adjust the tension as I'm starting to place that turn, and then I can just beat it in. those little things you learn as you have more experience, and it's where practice comes in. The more you practice, the better you get. This is true in most things, right? I love this painted weft. It's really a lot of fun to weave with. And I need to get back to the dye studio, although I now suspect it won't happen in December, but maybe. And I'd like to do some painting of some tapestry yarn. And yes, those of you in the dye class, I will be adding that bit. So that is coming. How to paint yarn and roving. All right. I have a hand on the other side, of course. I'm going to, let's see, I think I'm going to split the warp right here because this little hand is going to go in here. I'm going to try splitting it even with the background color. I need a better light right there. So I split this one right on the edge there. And I know this drives you crazy, Jessica, that I take the needle on and off, but it's just my habit. I've done it for decades and I'm not going to change it. So it's everyone has their own ways of working. Doesn't mean that they're necessarily the most efficient. It's just the way I do it. Okay, so now I've created a little, ooh, let's see. Well, maybe I'll mirror the one I did on this side on that side. Well, we'll mirror our mistakes. Great. So happy, those of you who tell me that you buy my book, it's really, it makes me quite happy to hear that. It's right behind me. You probably can barely see it right there. The Art of Tapestry Weaving. If you have not seen it or you didn't know I wrote a book, if you want to know all about tapestry weaving, it's in there. Oh, great question. Why am I doing the body with 2 strands from the middle out and not just straight across? Peter, thank you for the name. That is an excellent question. And Peter's asking, let me bring this back up so I can show you why I'm doing this. Part of it is because I'm doing the colors like this. I'm flip-flopping them. And if I change the color on the selvage, it will create issues. It just won't look, the selvage won't look as nice if I'm switching colors on the edge. Other than that, it was to maintain meet and separate. So I have this 2 butterflies going in the background, and I want to keep them going up the side, but they're going in meet and separate like this. If I add only 1 butterfly in the middle, it will destroy my meet and separate and I won't have that anymore. In this particular case, it honestly doesn't matter that much because there are, straight slits on the sides. But in general, in another thing, if I was making a form that changed shape, I would need to maintain my meet and separate. And so that's an easy way. Adding 2 butterflies in the center is an easy way to make that happen. Otherwise, I would have had to change the direction of one of the butterflies on one of the sides to make meet and separate work. Okay, so there's going to be a beard in here pretty soon. And I can also see that I'm probably going to want to sew these little slits. Although I'm going to join them pretty soon. They might be okay, This one's pulling apart just a little bit, and I don't like that, but they might be fine. Okay. I didn't forget the other hand yet, Nan. I'm ready to put the other hand in. Welcome, Laughing Coyote. Oh, Marina, my book came after you were knocking on doors in Georgia. Awesome. Thank you for doing all of the good work in this realm of politics. No matter what political persuasion you are, it's great to get involved in your community. And also, thanks for buying my book. Okay, let's do the other hand. Marina, sorry, not Marina. Nan is right to remind me, because sometimes I start talking and forget things like, there's another hand. So here's an example where I'm adding only one butterfly, and it won't be in Meet and Separate. It's also in a different set, so it doesn't actually, wouldn't matter that much anyway, but just gonna leave it at, let's see, let's just tuck this back. I like to give all the details, as those of you who've taken my online classes know, and sometimes it's best if I just give fewer details. So, again, splitting this weft for the other hand. This one really wants to curl. It's interesting. This particular warp is really twisted. And also that tail is going to bug me, but oh well. Okay, now let's expand it to 3 warps. Can you guys even see that? I guess you can kind of see it. Those of you who play this on big monitors or your television probably can see it. It's not too blurry. Gosh, just kind of small. All right, there's the start of that hand. And maybe I will make this one narrower. I'm going to do something different. I'm so right-handed that I know this is annoying that I'm doing this weird thing where I'm using the needle and then the shed stick, but it's easier for me to find the shed with the needle there. How high does that go? So I'm also looking at this little diagram to sort of judge what I'm doing as I go. Oh, see, that time I got it in without the needle. Okay, and then I've left this warp here because I changed my mind. You can just see that it's not covered. I have to go back and use this to cover that warp. So let's see how that works. I'm going to unweave this. And yeah, it was the last pick, so I can just pick that warp up here and put it through. See, Marlena? She has a huge monitor so she can see it. I am just using a small monitor here, so part of my frustration is that I can't see it on the monitor. Oh, good. Good. Thanks, you guys. I'm glad you can at least sort of see what I'm doing. After 100 episodes, you'd think all the tech would be dialed in, but stuff changes all the time. YouTube just changed some, the way they do the links, and stuff's always changing. Okay, I'm gonna do one more time with that split weft. And there's the little hand. Don't like this. You can see the little thing there. I will stitch that in so you won't see it, but okay. So let's do, let's fill in this other side. I think this little hand is about done on this side. Let's get that out of the way. So let's fill in the background. Let's go one more there, and then I changed the size of this little hand right there. I had a split warp, so when the next time over I need to pick that warp up. One of the things you learn when you weave lots of different shapes is how to weave different shapes. I guess that's obvious, but I've never woven a gnome before, so let's see what happens. Okay, I think that'll work. Ooh, that's bright purple. Using this variegated yarn in the background is pure laziness on my part. Array has beautiful graded yarns, and I could have made a really nice gradation in the background. But honestly, if I'm going to put this on a Christmas card and send it to somebody, I don't want to spend the time to make a beautiful gradation in the background. That sounds really... It sounds a little bad, but it's just efficiency, right? Tapestry's slow. And of course, we're all careful of who we gift our tapestries to, right? You gift them to people who will appreciate them. We're getting close to the end of this little hand. I think the split warp worked out pretty well. Fortunately, it's a gnome. It just needs a blob for a hand. No, Janet, you're not wimping out by using a needle. You can use any tools you want. Jessica was suggesting a crochet hook. A lot of people like to use crochet hooks for weaving small things. It's a great way to do it. I don't know why I'm stuck on, the needles, and I tend to take them on and off all the time, and whatever, it's just how I have done it, and maybe I should reevaluate that. But Linda is talking about this shed stick. This is a Stephen Willett shed stick. They're beautiful. I have another one he made me that has like little teeth on the end that you can use to help beat the weft in also. Marla, that's hilarious. Hasn't been 100 episodes yet, so after next week, she's going to hold me to higher standards. That's funny. Yeah, and Linda also uses needles, and she uses a bunch of thin wooden needles. So because she has issues using one of her hands doesn't work as well. So those of you who have some mobility limitations or arthritis or something, there are a lot of different tools you can use. So yeah, so there's lots and lots of different ways you can adapt what you do, and it is smart to think about, you know, how you're doing things and how you can adapt things. And I just had a conversation with someone in the fringeless class online about how to warp a loom like this. Oh, actually, it wasn't the fringeless class. It must have been warp and weft. We were talking about a pipe loom and how to warp it, not with a fringeless warp, but with a continuous warp with a warping bar that would go around. So it's really fun to think about new ways to perhaps use equipment or make new pieces of equipment or whatever. I'm going to test out that idea before I tell you what it was, but it was just one of those things when someone asks the right question and you're like, oh, you could do it this way. It's kind of fun. Okay, I'm going to need a little sleeve to come in here. Let's make this hand color go around. And I think, actually, I'm going to use a tiny, this is like a number 20 tapestry needle, which I use for sewing slits, but I want this pigtail to go under. I'm going to wrap it around and go under so that it will just sort of hold a little bit better. All right. Then I can add the other color, and I'm actually going to use a different butterfly for that little sleeve part so that it looks like it's separate from the little shirt. Okay. Let's go a little bit further on this little gnome. Let's see, what would be the most interesting thing to put in? This beard part is quite rounded, and at the bottom of the body, I actually put a little bit darker outline with a charcoal color, and I might try that with the beard also. I think I'll do the beard pure white and the mustache natural, and we'll see if that's enough contrast to tell them apart. I might have to put a little outline under the mustache to make it stand out. But let me get this out of the way. I need this curve for where the beard is to go in here. So how will I do that? Looks like I need one more sequence of the dark blue. And then I think I'm gonna split the light blue and we'll make it easy. If I was sure I was done with this dark color, I would splice it and cut it off, but I'm not quite sure. So I'm gonna leave it and find the light blue. And the question is, do I want the light blue all the way across? I don't think so. I think I'm going to split it like this. So I just made a float on the back there. Heaven forbid just so I could use this already attached yarn. And then I'm gonna weave up, let's see, these little side pieces. And I might go back to the dark blue because I think that would look the best. Making the curved forms the shape you want takes some practice. I'm debating in my head as I think about where I want the turns to go. So that's 1, 2, 3 picks, and here would be 4 picks of that color, and then I can put the dark color in there again, so it's a good thing I didn't cut it off. And that one is 1, 2, 3, 4 picks also. Okay. Great. Yeah, Jenna is asking, she says I use a 12-inch shacked shed stick. It's probably too long and also probably too fat. Shacked makes a better one that is called the weaving stick, I think. It is, I don't have mine, oh, I know where. I sent that one with Tapestry to be photographed, so I don't have it actually in this house, but it's about 9 inches long, I think, and 5/8 inch wide. If you want to buy a shacked product, that's the best shed stick they have. I really recommend these Stephen Willett ones. There's also, oh, hang on. I happen to have a selection here. Handy Woman Shop makes a really nice shed stick. I love her wooden looms, so she also makes nice shed sticks. And then this is Thomas Creations Threads Through Time. They make fabulous tapestry beaters like this one. And they also make these beautiful shed sticks. So these are all 1/2 inch wide, which is what I like for small looms. And then Dawn Betterly. I did a whole video, and I will make a note of this. A whole video of about shed sticks recently this year with a whole bunch of different options, and then people kept sending me more options, and there's a whole bunch of them, but Liz Gibson also makes a nice one. She's yarn worker, but I have to say the Stephen Willett ones are really the closest to the ones that I've used for a long time, made by Jim Hokett, who retired. So all of those are really great options. Yeah, I agree with Marlena. She says the shacked ones are too wide. The only one that I ever use is that weaving stick one, which is 5/8 of an inch wide. These are 1/2 an inch, which is just slightly narrower, but I really like the little bit narrower width. Oh, Anna says shed sticks in the UK. Look at Michael Williams wood. That's a great recommendation. Anna, I don't know those, so I want to look those up. All over the world, different ways, you know, different places to get tools. Don't think that you have to order something from the United States just because I recommended it. Please, if you're in another country, be creative. A shed stick, if you have any woodworking skills at all, is probably something that you could make with a little bit of whittling or sanding or whatever. Like it's not rocket science. It just needs to be really smooth. So, don't even think that you couldn't make something that you can use for tapestry weaving. You don't have to order stuff and have it sent from other countries. Yeah, thank you all for coming and putting up with my funny little gnome project. We will see how this, oops, I did it again. We'll see how this little guy turns out. And here's his friend. Maybe he'll end up in a holiday card to somebody. So if you're my friend and you get the gnome in the holiday card, you know you're pretty special. Oh yeah, Judy, that's a great recommendation. I actually used this at SOAR. When I taught at SOAR, I needed equipment that was inexpensive for people who were brand new to weaving, and I brought popsicle sticks. So if you have a popsicle stick, honestly, it does work for a shed stick. The ones, or kids' craft sticks, the 5/8 ones are a little bit wide, but they make 1/2 inch popsicle sticks, the ones you get in your popsicles. So go buy a box of popsicles and then use one of those. Yeah, Dave made one from a piece of pine trim. You can make a really nice tool if you just spend a little bit of time and really think about sanding it. So a couple grits of sandpaper and getting it shaped nicely is all that you really need. So, but I did do a blog post and a video all about shed sticks sometime in the last year, and I will link that on the Change the Shed page. So if you go to tapestryweaving.com, under online learning, there's a page for Change the Shed, and I put links of all the things I talked about every week and a direct link to the video. And if you want to go back and find something, I'll have a picture of what I wove that day, so you can go through and say you wanted to go back and see what I did on the handbasket tapestry or something. You can find it a lot faster if you go to that page. Yeah. Oh, donations. Also, 100th episode next week. Woohoo! I did have a few of you send me donations in honor of the 100th episode, and I appreciate it so much. I cannot thank you enough. Those of you who send me either a few dollars or a lot of dollars if you have them. It doesn't matter how much. It's just really nice for people to say that Change the Shed makes a difference. And on that Change the Shed page on my website is also a donation button if you want to throw any dollars at the technology and the time it takes to do Change the Shed. So 100th episode next week, and then next year there'll be a schedule on my website, and we'll see what happens in the new year. I have a couple ideas actually, so stay tuned for January. I probably won't be back until the second week in January, I would guess, but we'll see you next week and then in January. I like that idea, Jessica. Maybe I should make posters of some of my pieces, like the gnome or handbasket tapestry. Posters or postcards. That's a great idea. Actually, that would be fun from Change the Shed. I wish I had talked to you about this about a month ago, Jessica. We could have Change the Shed postcards with the handbasket tapestry or something. I'm going to think about that. It's a great idea. All right. Looking forward to 100 episodes next week. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with me this morning. And next week, I'll have something different. It won't be the gnome. Well, maybe if I finish it, I'll show it to you. But I suspect I will have a little something different celebrating 100 episodes. So I'll see you then. And in the meantime, happy weaving. And if you want to post what you're weaving online, like on Instagram with the hashtag #ChangeTheShed, it's really fun to see those. So I'll look for that, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye, everybody.